Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the additional extra committee meeting so that we can deal with a couple of issues regarding our subcommittee. I'd like to call this meeting to order now, please, at 3:03, calling for any disclosure of pecuniary interest. None? Okay. Moving forward, approval of the agenda. Agenda for the August 6th, 2024 Equity, Diversity and Inclusion Advisory Committee meeting. Resolution that the agenda for the August 6th, 2024 Equity, Diversity and Inclusion Advisory Committee be approved. May I have someone make a motion, please? Ray? Seconder? Councillor Sharp? All in favor? Carried, approved. Approval of the minutes. Minutes of the June 3rd, 2024 Equity, Diversity and Inclusion Advisory Committee meeting. The resolution set as that the minutes of the June 3rd, 2024 Equity, Diversity and Inclusion Advisory Committee meeting be approved. May I have someone make a motion for the same? Councillor O'Neill. May I have someone second? Councillor Boyce. All in favor? So moved, approved, carried. Any public input that we're not aware of? I don't see, unfortunately, there's no one in visitors. No delegations or presentations. This was specifically an extra meeting called to deal with the work that the subcommittee had done. Any correspondence? I see none. Nothing that's come in since the agenda. Okay, moving forward. Items for the committee's consideration. The report from the subcommittee regarding the 2025 committee activities and budget considerations. That was put forward work by the subcommittee of Deputy Chair Brandy Brown, Member Ray Gorell, as well as Member Isaac Monday, and we're all looking forward to hearing about that. Unfortunately, the Deputy Chair was unable to make it. However, Isaac and Ray will be able to speak to their points brought forward.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for the opportunity to speak to some of the suggestions that we want to put forward to Council for consideration. I'll start off with the first point. I've got about four points we want to speak to. The first point was a cultural and having a cultural and diversity inclusion area to be incorporated into the Canada Day event at Centennial Park. I made the Era of Confederation Centennial Park within the city. So some of the things we discussed, what I'll go through is kind of the points we put in there. Number one, we wanted to look at the needs, tables, chairs, barriers, garbage cans, litter pickup, security. Will there be licensing needed for each group? What kind of advertising and POP signage, buttons, stickers, supply for messaging for diversity in Quinte West? Is there maybe an honorarium needed for groups to take part that may not have a large budget for travel, etc.? Part of this would be partnerships with Accessibility Committee to understand needs, connect with Quinte Immigration for understanding of prominent groups. We would need to partner with, say, the event schedule for the band shell to give opportunity for community groups to showcase their talent, etc. Also, we would need to connect with all pertinent groups, example, Pride of Quinte, Black, Hispanic, Indigenous, Loyalist College, the Francophone group, Caribbean community, etc. So all the community groups. Perhaps we could have, as part of that, maybe a kids' art table, speaking to what diversity means in Quinte West. Suggestion would be then showcase creative displays in a heart or something like that in the rotunda of City Hall for July. So that's kind of one of the suggestions that we have that we thought would, instead of having our own DE&I event within the city, combine it with the Canada Day event itself and make it one big celebration for not only Canada Day but for equity, diversity, and inclusion within the city. Any questions on that? Councillor Sharp?
Thank you, Ray and working group members. I really like the idea of having something at Canada Day, and we always have a large crowd, and the opportunity, particularly at Canada Day, to promote and educate and include all of our community members. So I really like this opportunity. Um, I sit on the accessibility committee, and they too are interested in any supports they can provide, which again, there may be a budget component. However, Director Grimman has received information with regard to accessibility on this, but I do like this because this is an opportunity where we have a lot of members of our community attend, and where there's a booth and other opportunities, and maybe, and I'll look to the Canada Day committee, but maybe some representation from this committee on that committee as they plan, because it is a lot of work and there may be some integration there. So I just want to speak in favor of utilizing our combined resources on that particular day. Thank you.
Do you have anything else for that part?
I don't think so.
Okay. And part of that is we don't know what the budgeting purposes, so I know we've sent it up just to kind of get an estimate of what costing would be. I have no idea what costing would be for this for the city. So I know I've sent that up to Jacqueline and team just to get some input on that. But definitely something that, I look as myself being a new member to Quinte West and looking at the growth that we have and just looking now at the diversity that we're starting to have as a city. I think that it would be a great opportunity for us to showcase. So thank you. The second part or second item on here was when we look at really the fantasy of lights. And I also put in there, it could also include lighting of the Riverwalk. I know I spent a lot of time going down the Riverwalk with my dogs and my husband, and I know it was lit once and it's kind of got hanging old lights and everything else now there, but how could we be more inclusive for 2025 lighting to not only make it just like a Christmas event, but to include Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa happens, I think it's the 26th. Diwali usually is just before that. Could be Eid, Hanukkah, the Asian New Year traditions, and symbols from other diverse faiths, pride, autism, all these communities. We would need to consult prior to final decision in choosing symbols for lighting displays. And again, what would the cost be to help create light displays, storage, setup, etc. by the city? So how could we maybe take fantasy of lights and make it a little bit more inclusive to other community groups? And that's why even, is there maybe other areas besides the fantasy of lights itself that we could have during the holiday season to be able to showcase these groups?
Is there, Director Grimman, is there any, there's a specific committee for the fantasy of lights, is there not? And whereabouts do they, who has come up and who's designed or over the years? Because I know it has expanded from what it had started out to be. And then there is that, there is the secondary park in Frankfurt as well, where other things could be considered as well.
Thank you, and through you, Madam Chair, to the committee. So yes, there are two very active and strong volunteer groups that spearhead the planning and the installation in conjunction with city staff for both the Trenton location at Fraser Park and the Frankfurt location at the Tourist Park in Frankfurt. Both of those displays have different themes and kind of different areas of focus within them. Certainly, I'm happy to to connect perhaps a lead member of our group with each of those volunteer groups to talk about any possible integration and considerations from this committee to move forward. When we have worked with other cultural groups or representation from different communities, for instance, the menorah in Fraser Park, those have been brought forward from various community groups to initiate those particular installations. So certainly if there are groups that we have awareness of that we can work with to certainly make sure that these are meaningful and also the cost. I want to be able to bring forward any considerations for the 2025 budget process. We have different suppliers and catalogs of all the different lighting installations. They range depending on the size and scale from, a reasonable budget to quite a high budget. So I'm happy to work with the lead from the subcommittee just to make sure that I can make those connections and we can price that out accordingly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So the third item we have on there is it addresses training and development, and we don't, or I don't, or any of the subcommittee are not aware of what programs does the city currently have, and is there a need for, if they have, is there a need for improvement for staff, for council, and or for community member groups to look at, what programs specifically to, I call it, sorry, because of work, I call it diversity, equity, inclusion. I know we're EDI here. So, but what kind of training and development is available for staff so that I guess we're more in tune as the city grows to help better understand the needs of the different diverse groups and how we address them, how we speak to them, and how we engage with them. So that would be, I would say, if somebody could come back to us with what that looks like.
Councillor Sharp? Councillor
Yes,
Sharp.
thank you, Madam Chair, and through Director Grimman and to Ray. I think that's an excellent point, and through Director Grimman, would it be appropriate maybe if we had a report from our Human Resources Director in terms of the training that we do provide, and maybe the opportunities? I know we work really closely with Loyalist College, and if there is some training that our committee or any others, maybe other members of public members of the committee throughout Queen West, what that might look like, what that could cost, and just something maybe from HR. What's your thought there, Director Grimman?
Thank you through the chair to Councillor Sharp. Yes, I think that's a great suggestion that we partner with the HR department to bring back a report. What I can say anecdotally is that I think there's lots of room for growth and opportunity in terms of training that's available and provided to staff, members of council, and then potentially even to the community. I have had recent conversations a little bit outside of the realm of EDI, but in terms of training for truth and reconciliation that Loyalist College has just recently delegated to Belleville Council on. So they have brought forward a program called 4 Seasons of Reconciliation. That's something that we're exploring, and I've met with them at the Indigenous Centre at Loyalist College to explore having them come forward to council to share the information about the program here with Quinte West Council. So I'll certainly keep everybody posted once we're able to secure a date with them on that. Further, I have registered and have a spot held for an upcoming session that the City of Kingston is holding for partners who may be getting into kind of EDI, the space of EDI, and kind of wanting to take a look at things from the lens of equity, diversity, and inclusion. So the City of Kingston is hosting that for municipal partners, community partners, regional partners, and beyond. So that is this coming Thursday, August the 8th. I've got a spot from 9:30 to 10:30. I will be taking that call. It's a virtual call from a conference meeting room here. If there's members of the committee that would like to attend and join me in the meeting room, we can conference in together. So the thought and the agenda for the day for that meeting is building and implementing equity, diversity, inclusion and reconciliation into municipal practices. So that is something that that I've registered for a spot to explore further.
Thank you.
And then the last part would be, it's along the same line, which really what you just spoke to is like a learning budget for connection with other municipalities, for council or conferences specific to DE&I development and evolution, so that, we felt that it'd be best, like, city staff or council, because they are you are the ones that are here all the time. We may come and go. Would be a great opportunity for them to have and understand what other learn from other municipalities. So, and then the last point on that would be to finish off that the proclamations that normally are done. Brandy Brown will be doing an Excel file submitted to Josh with the pertinent days for the city to recognize, and then the file can be updated yearly as the dates change based on the calendar, and it's kind of a one and done, and that way you have all the information for proclamations as well. But that is all we have for now. Thank you.
I did have a question in regards to the committee itself making the proclamations. To Director Grimmin, is there not community groups who are doing this themselves? I would guess that it would be well recognized or posted somewhere on the city's website, that community groups are welcome to and encouraged to put forward a proclamation request, as opposed to, it just seems that, in my opinion, that it should be coming from the group themselves. And if they're not in knowledge if they're not a clearly recognized or an organized group that don't know, as opposed to us saying, okay, this is the day we need to recognize for you. It is my belief somewhat that we should be allowing them to be able to come to us as well. So not all of us directing that, but yeah.
Through you, Madam Chair. Yes, certainly the committee bringing forward a list of proclamation requests would not disallow other members of the community that may want to bring proclamation requests, or certainly enhance proclamation requests with other elements, whether it's flag raisings, bridge lightings, different things like that, or official ceremonies that they might want to bring forward here. What I can say is I know some of the conversations that we had at the committee when we did establish was the idea of creating a bit of a cultural calendar, a list of observances that the committee wanted to bring forward and kind of put on the calendar for Quinte West. So really this would just be doing that. It wouldn't really take away from any other groups bringing forward requests. Yep, thank you.
Thank you very much. That was my concern. Thank you. On behalf of the rest of the committee, I'd like to thank the subcommittee members for their time and effort put into this. The ideas, I thought, when they were sent out via email are fabulous ideas, especially like Councillor Sharp had said on Canada Day, when we pride ourselves on being a multicultural country. And on Canada Day, how better than that to celebrate all the different diversities and groups within our own community. So thank you very much again to the committee, and look forward to the reports and submissions to council for budgetary items. Any other questions or comments regarding? Go ahead.
Thank you, through the chair to the group. I guess the only one on the list I didn't get to make any comment on was the idea about Canada Day and some inclusion and cultural diversity initiatives with regards to the Canada Day Committee. So in terms of some of the items that the group brought forward, tables, chairs, barriers, garbage cans, and costs for that, I will just let the committee know that because the city staff are involved with actively programming and bringing forward that event every year, those costs are considered in kind, so those are able to be covered under the auspices of the event. So that's something I just want to make sure that I did note to the subcommittee. Additionally, I would like to, if there's a lead from the subcommittee that would be interested in attending, or potentially, two or more, that would be interested in attending the Canada Day subcommittee. So that group meets to talk about the programming and events that they are bringing forward as part of the Canada Day event every year. They meet several times a year, and I'm happy to kind of connect members to speak directly with that group, bring the ideas forward, and then that way we should be able to kind of hash out what budgetary requirements might be needed. Prior to that happening, I would suggest just making sure that any connections are made with Quinte Immigration, because it sounds like you've got a good plan mapped out here that I certainly commend you for. And then that way, when the meeting happens with the Canada Day Subcommittee, hopefully we'll be able to make all those connections and move something forward.
Thank you, Director Grimmin.
Madam Chair?
Oh, my apologies. I forget in regards to that. My apologies. Go ahead, Councillor Sharp.
Sorry, I know zooming in is not best. Anyway, I just wanted to ask, would you be our contact liaison to the Canada Day Committee? Would you be able through motion to appoint you to
Yeah,
be our representative?
it would just depend on timing for me, because most of my week is outside of the city working. So I'll connect with Member Monday and Brown and see who we can come up with for that. I will say yes for now, but it just depends on on when the meetings are happening. I'd be more than happy to do that. It just, if it's during the week, I'll have to work it into being at my Belleville store.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you for taking that on Ray. Moving forward, under new business, I'd like to first commend Member Mundy in regarding the flag raising, the successful flag raising on the 25th of June at the city. Unfortunate circumstances regarding why everyone was there. It was a wonderful turnout. Both you had the fire department, police, members of the various committee groups and community partners, besides citizens, residents as well. Again, an unfortunate circumstance. However, it once again, negative often brings out positive and brought forward to the community and such. So hats off and a wonderful presentation and raising of the flags. One more item as well I'd like to bring forward is that on the 30th was the another citizenship presentation. There were 36 new Canadians inducted and welcomed to Canada. And last year was the first time that I had been to one, and I was honored to be invited again, as were others as well. And I was fortunate to attend with Councillor Sharp was there, as well as others from the community. And it was, again, a very moving, and it was on how it coincided with the UN's International Day of Friendship. So what a moving day. The cutest little girl sat in the third row with Canada Day flags on her head, dealy boppers. Another young man brought in a stuffed beaver and carried him around, and they were the hit. So again, it was a very moving, and thank you to the city for including me and all of us in the invitation. Anyone else? Business or anything else to bring forward? Councillor O'Neill?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to congratulate Lucy Renault on being the recipient of the Bay Quinte Community Champion Award. We had talked about recommending her for that, and she did receive it.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And congratulations to Lucy and her award. Anyone else? Well, then I would like to thank everyone for coming out for this, I said, additional meeting that was called on behalf and to the hard work that the subcommittee has done. Thank you to council, city employees as well for coming out and arranging everything, and thank you to those plugging in via Zoom as well. If anyone else doesn't have anything else, good to see you, Councillor Stadell. We'll make a resolution, a motion, if I could have a motion to adjourn. Member Mundy, second. Councillor O'Neill, all in favor? Carried, approved. End of meeting at 3:28 PM.